Welcome back, OPL fans, to Week 5. It's Super Week. We are here Friday night with 2 huge games. We've already had a couple. It's an absolute cracker, 1-1 between Sin Gaming and the Direwolves. I'm Spawn, still joined by Fish and Rusty down the end of the desk. And what 2 different games we've had already. I mean, good landing phases, Game 1 out of Direwolves, but can't close the team fights. Game 2, great landing phases and early game pressure out of Sin Gaming, but a huge mistake in the mid-game cost them it all.
Yeah, and a lot of that stemmed from the drafting in the second game when you look at it. But realistically, Sin, having that lead, not being able to cement that lead and follow that through, and somehow still getting the inhibitor and 2 Nexus turrets is rather confusing, just as a game in general.
Yep, they somehow won the draft. Somehow they were winning the early game, but late game, they were the ones that take down Nexus turrets first and still lose. It was just an absolute confusing game to watch.
Absolute mess of a game of League of Legends. But now, gentlemen, it is my pleasure to give you the tough choice of how do you actually fix one of the teams and which one is it going to be?
What would you fix, Fish?
I don't know what to fix anymore. We tried fixing them twice, Rusty. Apparently it doesn't work. First time we need to fix the Direwolves, we fixed them. Now we've got to fix Sin again. But in all honesty, looking towards Sin, I think Juice really needs to step up and have a game like he did in Game 1. Rogue played exactly the way he did. FBI set a good game. Ryoma didn't have a great game again, but even Game 1, I don't think he had a fantastic matchup. Doc was still performing well, so I think Juice really needs to step up and have another captain's game.
I mean, you could look at Direwolves and say maybe just draft with a bit of extra wave clear. I don't think the Kassadin was a necessary feature. Whilst it looked good, I wonder if they were just picking comfort. Now they've got a victory under their belt. They can go back to their drafts that they know work without that comfort there. Sin, just calm down. Actually, place some wards before you take the team fights. You know, very good team fighting team, but if you're not setting up for it, especially against things like a Zac and an Alistar, you will outright lose those fights because you're giving them opportunities to engage.
And, you know, a polarizing Zac game because his engages were good and his ult use was non-existent. I mean, I think he bounced people up twice. Didn't bring them back into the team until the very final team fight, I think I caught one. So is that ban-worthy?
I mean, unfortunately, when you look at a champion like Zac, every spell except the W is game-changing and potentially broken. You've got the Q after the distance that the Elastic Slingshot can cover, and even when he was not hitting the ultimates, the rest of it was still there. And so it was still a ban-worthy champion, in my opinion.
He was still such a big threat. We saw Shunfire getting good flanks behind Sim when they're pushing for these objectives and punishing him for being a little bit over-aggressive as well. So despite the fact he didn't hit many ultimates, he was still able to create that pressure and allow the rest of the Direwolves to be unlocked.
And, you know, was perma-banned on 7.13. However, we do have a tweet for you guys. It's going to be in from @Mediclaw, I think. No. Medic for the win. Cool. So, who gets the biggest buff on 7.14 and who got the most nerfed? I mean, pretty much what the question's asking. What are your thoughts?
I can't really speak towards the nerf of 7.14. I didn't really look at that part. 7.14 to me was a giant buff patch. But I would highlight Jace as who got the biggest buff. Because lethality is disgusting, but Jace is one of the few champions that can play at top, can play at mid, benefits the most by being an auto-attack champion. You know what? It's been played AD carry and support in
support
certain
before.
regions. I'm not going to say that for now. But,
has also been played jungle as well. So Jace, absolutely everywhere. If you want a champion in solo queue where you can play everywhere, pick up Jace. What are your thoughts, Fish?
I think Talon's the one that benefits the most. We saw him rise in popularity and split one quite a bit in top lane as well as mid lane, then just completely fell off. And we knew he had potential. I think these changes have brought him back.
I mean, alternatively, you could say that Cho'Gath benefited the most because he's close to meta from nowhere near it at all. So he's managed to, in terms of how far he's gone, massive.
And I think that if I was going to go for the biggest nerf, it would be the mages in support. Because right now, it was already hard because the tanks could catch you out of position. Now you've got these assassins backflipping all over Summoner's Rift. They one-shot you with Duskblade. It is not fun to be a mage support player right now.
Even international, we see the most common mage/range support being picked up is Bards, and no longer going towards Zyras, no longer going towards Karma, who's relegated to mid lane again. So it's curious to see if there are going to be any teams that play those supports again.
I mean, we've been seeing them, SKT as an example, still playing it in 7.13 when tanks were a support, but they've been losing with it. So perhaps the point is still very much relevant. However, we are seeing it.
Yeah, we certainly will check it out. The other matchup that I want to continue to monitor throughout this first best of 3 is going to be the jungle matchup. So let's pull it back up on your screen. We've been checking in with the shot caller of Sin Gaming as well as the superstar of the Direwolves. I mean, the stats tell it all. Shern, a much better performance.
Yeah, and this is after Shern got his passive popped at level 1. He flashed at level 1 as well. Sin did not commit to killing him, and I thought, you know, maybe that's fine. Maybe Juice will be able to pick up the slack and do something inside of his own jungle. No aggression from him. He constantly ganked mid lane, only got a single kill out of it, and just fell off after that.
Yeah, look, I think Shern played perfectly fine League of Legends. He was just a Zac. He was going to do his thing. Juves didn't have the best performance in game number 2, especially contrasting it to his engages from the first game.
And this is this a degree of difficulty on the execution then? Because we've seen a couple of games where Elise, early game, looks all right. I mean, ganking lanes is Elise's a want to do, but when it gets into the team fighting phase, does not look all that strong.
I just think if the roles were reversed and Juves was on Zac, he could have done the exact same thing as Shernfire. Farm up, get those ganks later on once his E is maxed out to rank 5. But if you are on Elise, you need to be proactive. That's something we see Shernfire do time and time again when he's in the jungle. When he has those proactive champions, he is. Juves just was not.
Yeah, I mean, even comparing the performance from game 1 of Shernfire and Elise, I still think he looked like the better Elise, generally speaking. But when I look at Juves, I'm not going to say he's picked a hard champion. It's too hard for Juves to play. He's perfectly fine on the Elise. He's capable on the champion. It was more of a decision of when I am going for an engage or I'm pushing mid lane, the rest of my team's running away, I'm running down the river and getting caught. And a lot of this is still a highlight of how well Destiny played in the second game, which I think is an area we didn't really highlight. But he was almost better than Shernfire was at ganking.
Yeah, his Alistar was really good there, getting good combos off and making sure he was pushing people into choke points that allowed Shernfire to do that.
Wore a Moo Cow onesie as well, which you can't overstate enough. As far as skin tier lists go, if that is not at the top of it, I will be very surprised. But my analysis has run out. I'm no longer a host. Let's get into Champ Select and give the job back to Fish.
It's a Champions League for game number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. Sin currently tied up 1-1 against the Direwolves. And if things haven't changed, we should still see 3 lethality bans on the side of Sin. Kha'Zix as well as Talon being taken off the table. Direwolves will ban out Xayah very early here. Jace is going to follow. Let's see if they do ban a Cassiopeia at the end. And Sin are one of the teams in the OPL that banned Zac on blue side. This time, no. Straight away, Kassadin ban. A lot of respect thrown towards Fantix.
Well, the reason I like the Kassadin ban this time is they can last pick it on the first rotation of red side and then ban away things like Lucian to counter it. So I think that it's a lot safer to take as a red side champion. You don't necessarily even have to save it for the last pick.
So now I'm curious to see what Sin are going to pick up. Rek'Sai still left open with Elise. Caitlyn's still up as well, but again, prioritizing the Gragas pick first.
That makes sense. I mean, Juves has had a good game. Dockless had a good game on it. Why would you not take a champion that is very ambiguous and both your players can take to Summoner's Rift?
Thresh is still left up as well. Curious to see if Direwolves go straight Caitlyn Thresh here and leave Braum available for Sin to pick.
They can go Caitlyn Thresh or they can pick Rakan. It really depends on how they're going to play this one out. Again, every support in the pool is up and available, so the choice is Destiny's. They could choose to not go for support now if they really wanted, but whilst it's definitely the most likely option, where would they go?
Bold call, Cotton. If they lock in Braum and they leave available Jhin Thresh, that is actually a skill matchup in my opinion. I think that Caitlyn certainly has the shove, but Thresh is much better at being able to, you know, help chip down creeps and be able to, at least early in the game, bully the Braum a little bit.
I mean, Thresh Jhin just wins 2v2s in general.
Yeah, and then the ability to bring in a Gragas with the Lantern just makes the ganks a little bit more potent. I'm really excited about this matchup now. This is a true test where the FBI Rogue is actually better than King and Destiny.
Let's see how that goes. I almost feel like Direwolves were forced onto the Braum with the Gragas pick up first. Last time we saw this Champion Select, it was a Braum ban over the Kassadin. But again, Direwolves go straight to the Jax pick third. Jax feels like he's in a good spot right now. Doesn't have too many counters in lane. Scales up phenomenally.
And I wonder if that forces Dockler to flex his Gragas towards the top lane and give Juves the option to play whatever he would like. And again, this opens it up to the realm of we've got a tank top laner. We can play whatever we want mid, but we've also got the options of carries in jungle.
And huge props to Bensor. Not just when Gragas has been a big flex pick, but other top laners and mid laners have been big flex picks. He uses them to his advantage time and time again. This is another example of that. Sin, however, are going to ban out the jungle pool here. At least the first. Cassiopeia is another one going out from the Direwolves.
Yeah, attack Shern. You know that he's going to get the first pick here because they're probably going to want to protect Fantix a little bit in this draft. Ryoma is certainly showing that, at least in the laning phase, can go toe-to-toe with Fantix. So I think that, yeah, 100% you attack Shern and you make him pick one of the weaker junglers right now.
Renekton Bane coming out from the Direwolves again. Seems like they don't want that matchup into Chippies. Dockler has been a decent Renekton player and one of his most played champions this split.
A lot of the strategy from Direwolves in game number 2 you can replicate here, still with their draft to be decided, is the 1-3-1 continuation. Ryoma's ability to stay in the side lanes and then group to team fight was actually very poorly timed. Direwolves could use that to their advantage here through the draft.
Syndra's the final ban coming out from Sin, something we haven't seen picked or banned, I believe, in the past few series.
Interesting. With Talia available now.
Zed open as well.
Zed open as well. do they want to take something a little bit more risky here?
Ooh, that would be cheeky. Let's
That's
see
a
if Direwolves
jungler.
go for it. And they do. Cho'Gath has been locked in for the Direwolves. Sin now have to show their hand. They have to show where is this Gragas? Is it jungle or is it top lane? And Roma has to pick his champion. If
Has
it's
Juve's been playing Sejuani? Because if he has, I honestly think you just take the tank meta and you say, we will try and fight you 5v5. Rek'Sai, ooh.
goes to Rek'Sai instead. Now, what does Direwolves throw into the mid lane against a Taliyah?
I am curious with the Rek'Sai. Again, the options are still going to be here. Not necessarily a misfortune, as we're waiting for a mid laner. He's just going through his supports.
Is it going to be Zed? Does Fantix pull it out?
Zed
Corki?
works, but Corki's the natural pick into it.
And that's going to be picked up by the Direwolves.
I feel like one farms safely, the other one kills it. And I like killing lane opponents, and I think Fantix does too. He was getting very frustrated last night when he was streaming because of his lack of ability to be able to kill people. So, you know, it's a safe draft. I think they've certainly got 1-3-1 flavor there. But at the same time, Roma can continue to gank out Chippy's lane and use that wall to rejoin the team.
And we have a Cho'Gath being picked up here in the OPL. The Barmy Cinder buffs seem to have brought him back into the
The
meta.
E buffs is what brought him in. We'll see how quickly he clears with that E. He can start wherever he wants. Very sustained jungler. And I
Doesn't
can't
lose
believe
it.
it's taken 3 games for him to come out. I actually think he's the best jungler on the patch right now.
Yeah, Maokai and Cho'Gath, the two that I would look towards. Maokai has got risky clear because of saplings. Cho'Gath is risky because he can miss all of his spells, but with the E changes giving a slow, it's very hard to miss your knock-up if the slow is already connecting.
And if you get to level 11, you don't even really need to hit skills. You just flash eat someone, and it takes half their health away, and they can't participate in the rest of the team fight.
And-
I'm expecting to see Thunderlords, sorry to cut you off, Fish, because he just needs a little bit more of that extra damage to give him some presence. And he's so damn tanky that you really don't need Carrot Colossus or Grasp of the Undying to be relevant throughout the late game.
And that's one of the things I was going to touch on, the fact that now Cho'Gath can't be punished for dying. His ultimate got changed so long ago that he's allowed to stack up infinitely, as well as keep those stacks if he needs to.
So he gets a maximum amount of stacks from creeps. And then when he eats champions,
It goes
if
up.
it kills them, it goes up still. So it is infinite as long as you can last hit champions. Not sure you want to be doing that as a full tank Cho'Gath.
I mean, to be fair, when you go towards the Gargoyle Stoneplate build, you'll be stacking up massively
It'll
on
be huge.
some champions.
Imagine Gargoyle Stoneplate, Iron Elixir,
Oof.
and full stack Cho'Gath. He's going to be tall. If nothing else, he's going to be soaking skill shots.
But again, he can't be punished for dying anymore, which was the biggest change that helped him get back as well. So curious to see how he's going to do in the jungle now for Shenfire.
Yeah, apart from that punishment where you have to stay in the death chamber for like 45 seconds late game, which, you know, most champions go through when they die. Karthus, of course, cheats that for a little bit at the start.
I've always thought that Cho'Gath and Zac were my favorite champions because they start like little baby animals until they become monsters.
Look at him. He's smaller than a Rek'Sai. He's literally a mini Rek'Sai. They're just so cute.
And that's very
Rusty.
apt for their ability to play League of Legends early in the game, isn't it, Fish? Rek'Sai is immediately good. Cho'Gath needs to start clearing 1/6 to be able to win 1v1s.
Well, of course, also, one of the changes that we made quite a while ago, which I liked, was when the Vorpal spikes grew as Cho'Gath grew. No longer mini spikes coming out of massive Cho'Gath. Now they get big as well.
And the E, it grows with him too now as well.
That's the bubble spikes.
Ah, whatever. you're a Vorpal Spikes. I didn't want to. Nah.
I thought Swan was going to take over
This
that.
is what happens when you say the spell names, and in my mind, it's like, that's totally his cue.
Yeah.
It's
The big
not.
thing for me is I was a big fan of AP Cho'Gath when it was being played. Alex Ish running around on AP Cho'Gath. You waited for the wall,
probably
you
still are.
one-shot someone. Unfortunately, when I heard Cho'Gath was coming back, I got very excited, and then I found out it was full tank jungle Cho'Gath, so more of the Snoopy era.
My
But here we go.
Brings back to Hotshot GG Season 1.
Ryoma, got one, got
Gets
two,
to
got three.
Four almost. So Shenfire is going to be stuck here for a while, dealing with this big Raptor. Will eventually kill it. But still, it's not the first time we've seen Ryoma do this. He's done it in quite a few games as Taliyah.
That's the quickest level 2 ever.
Yep, certainly is.
He's going to do fine against Fantasy to kick things off. We'll start to shove out this wave.
At this point, Ryoma should pick up a Hunter's Machete and actually just get the level 2 for himself off the Raptors.
And Shenfire doesn't even hit level 2 off the back of Raptors there, so
Of course
he's
he doesn't.
stuck
He
level
lost
1.
4 of the mini
Yeah,
ones.
Too many.
As soon as you
Yep.
lose 2 mini ones, you don't hit level 2, mate.
But you know what? Rek'Sai with the early advantage in jungle clear, Ryoma has made it better for himself. Fantix is pushed under the turret because of the level difference between mid laners. This is the early game dream for Juves and for Ryoma.
So let's see if FBI and Rogue can win that matchup bottom lane. Already doing well here. Concussive blows. King can't get it. Rogue might fall as well, but still they back off nicely, forcing to use the potion. That's boot start.
I was about to say, do you know what saved Jin then? Boot start. They couldn't catch him. He was just running a little bit too quickly. Goes for the sustained start because he knows he's going to be poked out. And actually probably saves his life.
At the very least, saves his stay in lane.
Yeah.
Shernfire moves straight towards his blue buff, looking to pick that up. Fantix Valking in the mid lane then, so burning quite a bit of mana. Roma fairly low on ore as well after shoving out this lane quite aggressively. Pops his first potion.
Big Taliyah performances coming out of players around the world. Roma, pretty much a Taliyah main. I'm mostly surprised, honestly, that he got the champion.
Yeah, we see it banned out against him quite a few times. But Dockler top side of the map again, bullying Chippies to kick things off. Chippies might have learned his lesson after last game.
I wonder if Dockler has, though. And that is that, you know, Iceborne Gauntlet is a questionable rush item. I love it as an item. I think he's onto something with this Sheen pickup. I just think he goes that one step too far.
Let's see if he changes anything here. Started with the ring again, crafting potion by Chippies. He's used all his stacks, and Dockler still has a potion.
I'm also turning into a pretty big Dockler fan, by the way. Whenever you see his player cam, he's pretty up spirit and pretty positive guy. And has been definitely starting to rise to the occasion. He was a rookie coming into this. A lot of people overlook the fact that even though he's an import, he hadn't actually played professional League of Legends. And we gave him, what, all of a week to... I think he had 4 days of scrims, Stu said in the interview, before people started judging him, and now he seems to have come online.
And I mean, say what you will as well about that fact, as bottom's just fighting each other. Flares is the exact same example of this, and yes, he played competitively, but it's a shaky start with a strong finish. And that's the cool thing about the top laners that seem to join Sin. They just get that power spike.
Get that big shoes to fill as well, because Flares ended the season so well. There's a Cho'Gath gang coming top lane, so we'll touch on bottom lane later if Dockler does get caught out. Good knock-up coming out from Shernfire. Will silence him as well. Red buff is ticking. Chippies doesn't have enough mana. He has to flash Dockler here, or does he? Again! He just bamboozles them! Outplayed!
Outplayed, Fish. He falls on his own sword. He's like, ah, Lord, I have been outplayed again by me. What a disaster.
Meanwhile, bottom side of the map, we already mentioned there was a gank coming in from Rek'Sai earlier. Destiny and King now both don't have any summoner spells remaining. Steel Heals left up for FBI. A good hook comes out from Rogue. Will flay him back. Great damage landing on towards King. Winter's Bite finally coming out from Destiny. That will force him out of lane.
And as I said, I don't know if Kate Braum is a winning lane versus Thresh yet anymore. You can see that even with boot starts, the trades are going very well. FBI is able to duck in and out. They've forced them back, so they're going to hard shove the lane. They really are pretty versatile, Rogue. Canceling autos. Oh, that's the SKT one.
Yeah. Great skin, actually. Very usable.
They will go back to base here, pick up a couple of items for themselves. Serrated Dirt comes out first, which synergizes very well with the bouncing grenade.
It begins, Fish. The lethality begins.
I wonder how much lethality he has in his rune. Because for a time, when you were playing Jin, you just went to pure AD. You run a 15 AD page, so there was absolutely nothing special about it at all. Now, I wonder if he's back to, you know, a little bit of lethality in there. Wonder if he's back to all lethality. What was it, 25 lethality? No AD?
I mean, the common surge of lethality used to be about 20. And that would give you no AD after that as well. Fantix takes quite a bit of damage there by Roma. Sidesteps some of the abilities, but not all. And Roma's trying to keep him out of this mid lane for as long as possible.
Away from a creep. That was probably experience as well. So yeah, I think that he's gotten the better end of that trade.
Still just farming up. Barely even a mid lane. Fantix this time round though decides not to go for the Hex Drinker.
Yep.
Instead, he's going to pick up his Shin straight away as Dockler trading with Chippy's top side of the map. Both of them using their ultimates. Dockler holding his own. In fact, he's up in CS in this game. Doing fantastically fine.
Certainly is. He also has a passive. See if he can duck into the river and grab himself some fruit. That's always the sneaky way to win top lane. It used to be take Krugs and, you know, inflate your CS advantage. Now it's go pick yourself up some honey fruit. They're on special at the moment down at the local Coles or IGA.
Yeah, big tribute to him is that he would go for the fruit as well, not so much killing the animals in the jungle. Well, going to get locked down by double stuns. He's still quite healthy though. And here comes Juice. Big knock-up. They will lock down Destiny. First blood is picked up by Sin's captain. Shern has been ignited, but they get a return kill. Will be taken down. FBI still chasing further forward. Does have boost, but good slow from King stops any further advance.
And even though Shern gets shut down in the jungle early, he still beats him to level 6, and then he just eats him. He turns around, takes a big chunk. Sends him back to the fountain.
Yeah, and all of that trade, the advantage that you thought would go to Sin by the counter gank is diffused by that level 6, because most importantly, if Juice was 6, matching the speed of Schönfire, then he could have outplayed it. He could have actually become untargetable. They might have got kills at least traded there in the end positively for Sin. It just equalizes ultimately.
FBI will still be able to push this one in towards King. However, Destiny has come back into this lane. Hook lands.
Big
Only
creep
gonna lock
wave
him
there.
down.
Ooh. Generally, you get a little bit cheeky when you're the Thresh in that situation. You see the creep wave, you flame back into it. You think, you know, here's a little bit of an exchange with my little friends. Of course, with the Braum back in that lane, with Exhaust still available. Didn't want to go for it, Fish. Said they take the free shop.
No, but as things stands, it's a small lead.
That
for
is
Sin
the
at the
quickest bottom lane in the history of bottom lane.
Swifty
Boot
boots
3,
and
boot
Mobies?
5. Like,
Hello?
let's get around the map, boys.
They're zooming.
Ah. My goodness. Very, very quick bottom lane. Let's see what they do with that quickness. Meanwhile, Roma picks up his first blue buff of the game.
Juice still isn't level 6.
Nope.
I mean, I guess Shern actually took some experience top lane. Probably important to note. He pushed that one in.
Yep.
So maybe put Chippies a little bit further behind. That's all I can really think of how he got this advantage. He is 10 CS up as well, so maybe an extra Raptor camp spawn.
It's
He
the
has
same level as Solo.
Finally hit 6. But you're right, Schönfire is same level as solo lanes at the moment, above King and Destiny by quite a fair margin. Farming up with Storm.
I mean, I respect that a lot of this is going towards the bottom side of the map for both of these teams. Cho'Gath ganking at 6. Juve's now hovering around the area as the camps start to spawn. With Infernal Drake up and available in this game, you wonder if a kill that is meaningful enough down in this bottom lane can translate to that soon.
Rogue throws hooks, and even when they're a screen away, you think they're going to hit somehow.
Well, he does like to tweet out ban Thresh after every single Thresh victory he has. I don't think they've had a defeat this season. Meanwhile, Fantix has the package, almost gets shoved back by Rama, but a good sidestep from DeCorky.
And has taken teleport this time, so wants to be able to match lane, side lane pressure.
He's listening.
He missed the package use there. He was looking for it.
That's a tilter.
Instead, just Valves away.
You think it's going to be a big, majestic package, and in the end, you only get a Valkyrie.
Meanwhile, Hook lands bottom lane. They're going to try and lock down King. Gets good damage
Look how
out.
quick he is.
FBI is just running around with that cripple as they put up the shield, Braum. Put it up. I dare you.
Yeah, get him. Oh,
Meanwhile, he gets
hello.
behind him. Destiny jumps straight towards FBI. He's forced to reload, and there you go. Dark Passage, back to safety. There's nothing to do here.
That's a big ult used, however, so we'll see whether it does impact the rest of the lane. You can see that on top of a control ward right now, Shern started up the dragon. This is the most obvious dragon of all time, boys. You can't do that.
Jews will be able to stop them just by placing a ward down. Casually moves over with Alba Rogue.
You will feel a little bit bad if you're Destiny, like in part that should have resulted in a kill of some kind just because he was standing in the dead center of that Dark Sphere trying to save and prevent, rather, FBI from getting the safety on the Lantern, but he just walks over the top of him apparently.
Yeah, zoom in is what I'm going to say. Oh,
It's Fantix
Rama.
looking for a kill against Ryoma. Going to tag him. That's a ghost being used by the Talia. Still looking to trade aggressively here. Has the range advantage. No Valk available. Fantix going to take another rock throw to the face. Forces the Corki to flash out.
Oh!
Oh, goes for it. Under the turret. One-on-one. He'll die, but he absolutely styles on him.
Who cares? Who cares that you die? He loses all the creeps. You get the experience. He doesn't. One trade out of Ryoma right there and absolutely puts his mark on this game. He was falling down in CS. He said, stuff this. I'm not losing the lane anymore.
And speaking of falling behind, Juves is no longer behind because he gets a juicy midway prepared for him. Schönfire is going to do the same.
Yeah, I love doing this. Oh, what a shame. You can't make it back for that wave. Let me get it off the
It'd
turret
be a
for
shame
you.
if something would have happened to it.
Schönfire is going to be able to hit level 8 here. So matching Jews, who is slightly ahead now.
And that's a break point for Ryoma. He goes back. He's now got himself that completed item. Ooh, King's in some trouble, potentially.
Behind the turret, Hook doesn't land there from Rogue. King gets back to safety. This turret, though, very low. And normally it's Caitlyn, the one looking to take these turrets early.
And you just can't hit the Jhin when he moves this quickly. He is the speed of light right now. Actually, that's not true because Thresh is quicker than him. Speed of sound.
He's quick.
He's quick. What's the line from he's so fast he makes other fast people look not fast?
It's accurate.
What?
It's from The Longest Yard.
Oh, okay.
That movie where Adam Sandler and Nally play
Oh,
Gridiron.
yeah, it's from the new Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Not the good one.
Hey,
But
mate,
it's still good.
I thought it was alright.
Oh, well, I just like to call it as Egypt says. They're zooming. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Chippies and Doppler going to go brawling again, but this time around, Chippy's going to avoid
Ryoma's
it.
coming up, which is why he's done this.
Yep, he's going to go for this gank. Chippy's going to get caught off. There's Ryoma. Chippy's in so much trouble, and Ryoma gets another kill for himself.
So
big play by
creep
Sin.
wave. Are they going to teleport for it? It's just become available. Doesn't have time.
Hooks on.
Hooks on towards the Braum as well. Destiny at half health. Finally puts up the big shield. Shenfire looking for a knock-up. Can't connect it. First turret falls to Sin. They take it down top side of the map.
That probably saved the Mountain Dragon as well, because now they're still trying to force bottom lane. They don't have the health bars to go for it. And you can see that Sin's just kind of being annoying with this three-man unit.
And Ryma's still pushing top side of the map. He does not care about anyone at the moment. He'll shove this wave in, reset it. Direwolves going to try and look to take a Infernal Dragon for themselves. 3 members of Sin are bottom side of the map. Corki is in the mid
Gragas
lane.
is also in range of teleport.
I mean,
can
now you
teleport
just
in.
turn around and you take it.
Bro looking for a hook. Will take quite a bit of damage. They're going to try and take this one. Juice has to outsmite Shenfire. Doppler jumps in again. They go for the fight to kick things off. Destiny incredibly low. Will
Huge
pop his
knockup.
ultimate. He's been ignited,
Sin
but he
in
will
trouble.
get away. However, King gets a kill to Doppler. That's 2 for the Direwolves. Make it 3 as King flashes forward. FBI has to somehow get away now. 2 kills for the Caitlyn. They get an Infernal Dragon, and FBI still running for his life. Can't out Dodger. He couldn't juke the Duke, and that's going to be 4 for the Wolfpack.
Man, pick too many directions there, and the end FBI is going to go down. And this is all without Ryoma here. I liked the idea from Sin, contest it with the teleport, but really you weren't in a position to win the contest.
Ooh, I don't know how they lost that. I'm looking back. I'm looking at the summoner spells as this is available. Everyone has everything.
Juice is too fragile, though, I feel like. He's taking damage from this, and at the same time, whilst you're engaging, you're not doing meaningful damage. And a lot of this is the combo coming out of all of Direwolves.
I mean,
it was
that's
a good
just
combo.
Destiny winning the fight. That he hits a 3-man engage. He exhausts at the exact same time, so 4 members are taken out of that team fight. And unfortunately, no one chose to flash the Braum knockup.
Also,
Yep.
Sin could have just ran down bottom lane, taken 2 turrets for that trade, because bottom lane out of turret is almost dead. Instead, they decide not to, and try to go for the risky play of fighting for the Infernal Dragon, lose a big team fight to the Direwolves, which gives them the gold lead. Now about 500 gold
And
ahead
that
of
was,
Sin.
again, one of those moments where you put Braum with Sejuani's in League of Legends because the combo is fantastic. Chose like the cheap version of that because Braum can hit a knockup. Shenfire can follow that up with a knockup of his own. It's a bouncing castle where you can't cleanse out of it. You can't get out of it.
But Direwolves, off the back end of a good team fight, I feel have made a bad choice here. That's why we have a little bit of a fight. Because they've put their duo lane into a lane against the best wave clearing top laner in the game at this stage. He has the cask available. They will eventually get, you know, top lane turret potentially, as well as this Rift Herald.
Yep.
But how much do they lose on the bottom side of the map? Because Chippies can't defend.
I think that's what they were going for instead of top lane, which is a Rift Herald, so they'll get it. They lose bottom lane outer. Doppler trying to be a pest here. That Rift Herald's gone. Shenfire will secure that objective. Eats it away. Cast comes out for a cheeky steal. Doesn't happen.
But look at this. I mean, they're still going bottom lane. So they've taken 2 turrets.
Juice is here as well. They're going to look to try and take this.
Corki's
Good hook.
coming.
Locks him back. Locks him down. Pops the counter-strike to stop some damage. And he's A-okay.
Fantix cheats across and they leave Shenfire mid lane again. So in the end, they won't lose both of the turrets. Instead, it will just be 1.
I do feel like we're starting to hit this point, though, where Shenfire, as you mentioned earlier, level 11 is going to be a nice spike for him, but he's going to become close to unkillable already. Juves, yes, he's gone for the Cinderhulk, but every time I've seen him, it feels like there's just a lot less health in that bar compared to his opponent. He's not as tanky. Rogue, not as tanky as Destiny. And Chippies is still scaling, still continuing to ramp up in his ability to split push and potentially team fight, depending on the build path that he goes towards here. Sin, they're okay at the moment. They've got item spikes and power spikes that are good for them, but you're always looking towards Direwolves and saying that Drake fight could be what decides the scaling.
Completely agree. And the other big thing is when you have a Caitlyn, you generally get access to the turrets at some point in the game. And they've got 2 turrets, you know, one from a Rift Herald, one, you know, maybe top lane, maybe bottom lane, wherever the Gragas is, that they can chip down relatively easily. So I think that Direwolves are still in a pretty okay position. They're up in gold already. They have those 2 turrets available, and they're potentially going to take 1 mid lane right now.
They're dropping the Rift Herald there, right?
Wow, that is so scary when Cho'Gath does that. Oh, he cuts it off.
Yeah, Talia Wall going to cut off
I
Rift
wonder
Herald.
if he, oh, he's in range.
He can still go for the little cheeky slam. Gets the
But
turret
he's not
very
gonna get
low.
it.
But this turret will not fall. Sets it up to be knocked down later on. But big play Ryoma stops
Yeah,
it.
certainly is. I mean, they should have had 2 free turrets. They should have had 1 from the Caitlyn, 1 from the Rift Herald. Instead, now they're probably back down to just that mid lane when they get the Caitlyn in there and look to set up the traps.
Yeah, good defusal play from Sin, but ultimately I agree with you in that maybe Caitlyn should have just stayed top lane, brought the pressure up there, and then you place the Herald mid. You have river control, you have Shenfire around the area. Just use him as a pivot point.
Direwolves going to just continue to make these big macro plays. Bottom side of the map, Dockler now getting the worst set of trades against Chippies as the Trinity Force is complete. FBI looking to hold the turret against Caitlyn, and there is a Cho'Gath right behind the Gragas.
He's in trouble. He's about to get eaten.
Talia's here though, looking to try and fight this one out. Dockler has to stay alive somehow. Shernfire looking for the E. Good damage, will get it. Chippy's not even taking the turret. Teleports are coming in from the Direwolves, and Fantix will save them from this fight.
Yeah, but at the same time, will they get the turret? Because Juves is here.
And they're looking for the shove back as well. Fantix will be able to Valk away. Good knockup coming out.
So a
from
lot
Shernfire.
burnt. That's a TP. That's a Cho'Gath ulti, and you didn't really get all that much unless Juves dies. And of course, it's a fantastic trade.
He just burrows away. He'll be okay.
But you're right. I mean, the fact they don't get the turret, they commit to just the kill, you still look at Sin and you say, that's fantastic they're here in the first place. They know the Dockler's having a bad time, and whether it's communication from him saying, I'm going to get dove right now because I'm losing my 1v1. Can you come and help? They're here in time either way. And they're able
Oh,
to
hooks on! Locks him down, flame back. Good night, Fantix!
Yeah, and all of a sudden they can turn the
Teleports
journal,
as well.
teleport in. It gets cancelled.
Dockler going to cancel his as well, so he stays bottom side of the map. King will look to take down top lane outer turret by himself, but mid lane is under fire from the rest of Sin, and Ryama's cheekily moving towards top side of the map. Does not decide to cut off King with Weaver's Wall, does he?
King has double summoner spells and Infinity Edge at this stage of the game. I mean, I think that Ryoma can take the 1v1, but it's still risky. Now Cho'Gath coming in.
Not quite.
Still moving forward. They're looking to try and lock down Thresh. Rogue in trouble. Flashes very early. Juice gets into the fight. Shernfire just jumps on top of him, gets the big eat down, lives with a sliver of health. Chippies can't get the stun. They return good damage, and Kernakor gets popped. Oh, can't find Shernfire. Talia wants it as well, but he can't get in there. Crit shot going to come out, get good damage from Chippies, but Direwolves going to be just fine.
I mean, at the end of this, Sin now pushing to equalize what Direwolves have done to them in the top lane. This is really arduous and just dangerous for Sin overall. These fights are happening. No one's basically dying. Only Rogue single kill there. But nothing's actually breaking. This is a fight for the fight because Direwolves are defending. Sin aren't getting anything.
Yeah, exactly right. And when you have a look at what is actually happening, the Cho'Gath is just getting kill after kill and eventually will just become that monster that we know late game Cho'Gath can become. He's going toward the Righteous Glory, although that's a good ult.
Trying to knock King back.
in
There
trouble.
is the Iceborne Gauntlet slowing down King. Roma, one more rock throw, throws another one, gets a kill.
Yep, that's greedy from King. Look where everyone else is on the map. Braum's in base, Cho'Gath was walking out of base with Chippies next to him, and there is a Corki in the bottom lane. As a double summoner spell Caitlyn, you are not that safe. Not against all the pick of, Talia wall, the ability to be able to flash on you. You've got the Gragas still available as well. I mean, that's just really strange positioning.
And it keeps happening for the Direwolves. It feels like one of the major symptoms for their defeats, even in game number 1 here against Sin. The ability to get picked off whilst forward stanced.
Yep.
Let's see if Sin can continue getting these picks, because every pick they get brings them closer to the goal lead that Direwolves picked up for themselves.
Duskblade of Drakthar now available.
Ooh.
Double
Spicy.
lethality item picked up for FBI.
The item's just stupid, Spawn. Stupid.
I mean, he
item.
doesn't go invisible though, so it's going to be difficult for him to get multiple procs.
Still
Not having
stupid.
the best Thresh game.
No, he's not.
He's playing like good, but it's not a
Not a rogue
rogue
Thresh.
level Thresh.
It's not his Rakan that we saw in the past 2 games.
Yeah, I reckon that one was better.
Disappointed.
I'm not. I'm having fun today.
5-7 that one. Juice taking some damage there. Jack's still split pushing top side of the map. They send Talia to the top lane to deal with him.
This all
Doppler's
comes
gonna
down
run
to
up.
how the flick actually goes, because as soon as Jax jumps on you, I feel like you have to be on point getting him back off. Otherwise, he's going to pretty much two-shot the Talia.
Direwolves make the right call, move down mid lane, take that turret, and straight away get positioned over this Elemental Dragon.
Yeah, using the Caitlyn, the siege composition, Shernfire's threat of the knock-up is enough to zone people away, and the silence is game-changing.
Rogue is here again. Rogue, good flay, will knock him back, still get stunned and deleted from the Rift. Double shove, back comes out from Roma, but it's on the front line and does absolutely no damage. Again, Direwolves group up, use Chippies to stun lock the team. They get a kill.
Yeah, really well done. You can see that Dockler was in the side lane. He had actually gone across to try and clean that one out. And that means that there's nothing to siege mid lane. Dragon goes down for free. They've already got the kill. And Chippies is actually looking at Juice.
He's going to get locked down here. Roma shoves him back. Chippies in trouble. Will dash away, but Juice gets that kill. Kernakor gets cancelled by FBI. Roma's wall gets built, tries to separate the teams. They get a pick for that trade of the Elemental Dragon. Did they get anything more here, though?
Still getting heavy damage
Oh,
now.
got him.
Oh, they knocked Destiny back. He's forced to flash. Juice trying to flash on his face, and Fantix being very aggressive. Can Valk over the wall, incredibly low. There's Dockler in the back lines, gets one once more. Will get locked down by King here.
Oh,
Send
got
him
him.
into the team. Dockler, that was an insane play.
What a monster. The perfect cast gets him mid-net, and King was flirting with that. He was staying within range, did not kite back fast enough, and Dockler, huge play.
There's only so many times you can push your luck spawn, and Direwolves do it one too many. Sin, individual players, the pick composition of a Taliyah Jhin, not even with Rogue on the Thresh available, they get these kills, then they break the structures. We're back to square one.
Beautiful play from these two teams again, and this is turning out to be a very close series. It's been back and forth
Show
in
me the
every
Gragas
single
cast
game.
again. I want to see it again. Production, give me the
It's-
replay. Let's take a look at it. I mean, they face check into a brush with no vision. The consistent damage from Taliyah is here, but really, it's not about that. It's all about Dockler.
Ooh.
Yeah, it certainly is, of course. Catching King, he's stepping up. He's trying to get the stun off. And if you're Dockler, you know that he's going for the 4th auto, but the predict is still fantastic from him. It's one thing to know he's going to do it. It's another thing to press the button.
Dockler came into OPL and everyone said, don't give him Jace, it's his best champion. No, Gragas is his bloody best champion at the moment. He did this against AV last week, and that gave Sin a win, pushing it straight down mid lane.
As Hingers would say, molto bene. That's a Hingers special right there. But you can see that still the game isn't over. Direwolves still have the gold lead. They still have pressure on this map.
There's
Sure.
an interaction for you. Cho'Gath knockup with Rek'Sai tunnels. The tunnel wins.
He still gets airborne, but he's okay.
She still gets airborne.
Shenfire, however, incredibly massive. He's got over 4,000 health with Righteous Glory picked up.
He's this tanky man.
That's disgusting. He has 2.5 items and he has over 4,000 health.
And for those who don't know as well, Righteous Glory is one of the big things that put Maokai and Cho'Gath into being an incredible jungler or just player on Summoner's Rift. The ability to go forwards and not have to use your knock-up as Cho. You can press E, you can run at them and slow them down.
Changes there. Cooldown reduction, armor now added. Much better rush item. You can see that Chippy kind of wants in on Dockler here.
Oh,
he
the
missed.
cast miss,
He
and now
actually
that's
might be
going to
dead.
trade Dockler in some trouble. Has to body slam his way out, but he has to find the perfect window for it. Bilgewater Cutlass going to slow him down. Slows coming out from
There's
Dockler
Taliyah.
is enough, and Taliyah builds a wall. Chippy's forced to jump away and
Uh-oh.
flashes over the wall as well. Baron, though. Baron's been started by the Direwolves.
Certainly has. Teleport is available from Dockler. They have a huge tank, so they're going to take no damage.
Sin,
And
no, they're coming to check.
And there's a teleport coming out from Chippy straight away, trying to get to this fight. Hook coming out from Rogue,
Ooh.
misses King. Will get locked down by the Jindo, who pops the curtain call, looking
Juice.
for a fight. Juice, though, just dives into the backlines and gets destroyed. Sin out to fight without their captain. However, Direwolves incredibly low after this Baron fight. Shenfire is going to go down, but that's the only casualty for the Wolfpack.
yeah, exactly right. Now they can successfully disengage 1-for-1, but Baron is secured. Direwolves with the decisive play and the right play this time, able to take the big objective off the map.
Absolutely, with no hesitation, as you mentioned. The Baron was the correct move when everybody's going towards the bot lane. Juves, he sees the pick happen from FBI on the Jhin, but you cannot go towards a Cho'Gath. He will kill you, and that is the problem right there. You have to respect that you are the smiter of the team, and they are doing an objective. You cannot get greedy for a kill.
And Sin attack the teleport. They don't get the kill. So easy for Chippy to teleport back into that fight.
They did
no
get both
wall
these summoner
available.
spells, however.
True.
And as the map becomes smaller, it becomes easier and easier for Ryoma to look to make that play. And I think now that Dockler's flash is going to come back up, that becomes much easier to catch Chippies out.
2,000 gold lead for the Direwolves with Baron buff to work with and package available for Fantix. Very scary situation.
Yeah, and a bit of a variety build from FBI in contrast to that of King with his 3 completed items. Going to take a while or a one team fight to accelerate that build further, and they are team fighting.
They're looking for a fight. Taliyah's going to go over the wall, builds it up, but Juice, again, what is he doing? Just dives into the back lines and gets destroyed by the Direwolves.
Certainly does. I mean, he's on a mission at the moment, but the mission just isn't working. He should have bought, some would say. But when given an order, Juves goes in. Ryoma looking for a flick onto the big Cho'Gath.
Oof, he's just,
Quite easy to hit him, but he doesn't take much damage, Fish.
don't like it. He's just too big. The hook lands. Let's see how long Shenfire can survive. He flashes away this time, a bit more respectful. It's just disgusting.
But Chippy's is just going to sit in this side lane. You know, he's gone Bork. He has no interest in team fighting. He's going to just look to pressure down turrets. Unfortunately for Dockler, he doesn't clear them out quickly enough anymore.
Baron buff still available for them as well. Doppler sidesteps that knock up, but he's
in
going to still get stunned. Direwolves dive into the second turret. Destiny takes some damage, but will live here. Kurnikor gets popped, trying to slow down the rest of the wolves. Tagging Fantix, actually. Locket's going to be used, and Ryoma flashing forward for this one.
Yeah, that was a weird flash out of Ryoma. Put himself in range of the Jax as well, but the Direwolves decide to back away. They got the objective they were looking for. Dragon is respawning in 17 seconds. You would expect it must be an important one for them to back away.
And they're 4,500 gold up as well. They've taken control of this game. Now we have to see if they can finish the game itself.
But it still doesn't feel over. Ryoma is in a great position. Level 16 is Taliyah. Doesn't get much stronger than this, to be honest.
It doesn't feel completely over, Spawn, but Gargoyle Stoneplate for Schernfire. I'm excited, if nothing else, for his ability to press 2 buttons and kill someone from 100% and be a tank.
Tanky.
Yep. So I guess to do a bit of off-the-top maths, if he has 7k health, 10% bonus health is true damage on top of it, he'll be doing pretty much the entire health bar of FBI upwards of 1,500.
It's just stupid.
Yes, Fish, but it exists. And you now have to talk about stupid.
He's massive. Look how big he is. He just lumbers around Summoner's Rift.
He's going to try and look to lock down Ryoma here. Pops the Banshee. Shippies goes for the stun. Will get knocked back by Dockler. Tries to separate the team. Misses the ultimate, or I should say casually sidestepped there by Chippies.
He also hit it onto Shern, so he still split the team up. Just wasn't on the targets he wanted. And it looks like they're using the package on Fantix right now to just continue that split push. They have, however, caught him out.
Yeah, they're going to flash on top of him. Ryoma looking for this kill. Shove back does get dozed, and Rek'Sai pops the ultimate. He will die here. Good pick for Sin.
Yeah, certainly is, but he turns around, gets a lot of return damage, and at the same time, it looks like they're going to be able to take this bottom lane turret.
Sin,
or maybe not.
Sin look like they want to force a fight here. Kurnikor is available for FBI. Decides not to use it.
Yeah, with good vision control out of the Direwolves, they see Sin running towards the bottom lane. So the pick will defuse the Baron pretty much entirely. Any options for the Direwolves there was to dive, and that's risky knowing that you don't have your mid lane. And one of the primary damage sources there, with enough outplay from the Sin roster, summoners available for themselves, that was maybe one step too risky.
Yeah, certainly agree. However, I'm looking down the line and I'm thinking that Dockler is so far behind right now, but Ryoma is so accelerated. Ryoma really has to do the heavy lifting this game. He's getting so much side lane farm as Taliyah, and is 4-1 and 4. So really does have the items to be able to make this one work. Going towards his Void Star, you would expect only damage after that. If he doesn't go Death Cap, if he's not the one hard carrying this game, they're in a little bit of trouble.
Let's see what he can do. Currently, Sin, 4,000 gold behind the Direwolves, closing in to about 3,000. 3 turrets to 4 as well, but all the elemental dragons are in the Direwolves' favor.
Yeah, and I still can't help but feel like, whilst we're saying Sin, they hold off for a little bit, they are still holding off because the rapid fire cannon just completed for FBI is one of those big item breakpoints that they need. When you look at the mid laner here of Ryoma, he is accelerated, he is incredibly far ahead, but as magic resistance starts to get stacked through the roster of Direwolves, he needs his Void Stuff, and he's close, but he's not there yet.
Direwolves are going to group up towards the bottom side of the map again. Mid lane in the turret is very low, and leaving Chippies there to split push for the team. That's a big choke up. He's about 5,000 health. He's going to get hooked back, take some damage, but he's A-okay.
Actually takes a lot of damage.
He does.
2,000 damage instantly.
Jin gonna give it to you. Yep. Look, it was a Dust Blade. I'm just saying, he did a lot of damage. It was probably because it was a Dust Blade that hit him.
True.
Right, Fish?
But they lose mid lane in a turret for that, and they've caught out Chippies. Pops the Counter-Strike, takes absolutely no damage because of it.
Yep, so Counter-Strike, of course, not only allows you to dodge auto attacks, but takes away 25% of spells that hit you as well. Very crucial to keep the maximum duration up when you're being ganked by those mages. Chippies does it well, gets over the wall, hops to safety.
I guess it's all about the Baron ultimately here. It's very difficult to break a Taliyah composition, and with how proactive Ryoma's playing around the map, the best way that Direwolves were playing it was wait for the proactivity, react on the opposite side and take structures, but now he's a bit more steadfast, Ryoma. Very difficult to actually break that base, as the base and the area get smaller as well.
Yeah.
Baron makes that easier.
Certainly does. However, you look at the items. I mean, that is pretty much Caitlyn looking towards getting done. Infinity Edge, Zeal, as well as Rapid Fire Cannon picked up by Corki. These carries get access to the backline, even though we keep talking about, you know, Chippy, Shern. Really, it's about, you know, if Corki gets that sneaky auto attack off on Jin, if Ryoma overextends and gets 2-shot by a Caitlyn, there are so many ways that Direwolves can win this fight.
They've hooked up Schönfire here, getting some damage on towards the Cho'Gath, but he's just so tanky. And Juves, again,
He's just dead.
dies to kick the fight off, and Direwolves think they can take a fight afterwards. Schönfire very low, though. Will be able to back off. Cast will separate the team. Now they're trying to turn this one around. Direwolves retreating. King being
a lot
caught
of
out.
damage.
Tag getting tagged by Tagged again. Destiny will block out most of it. Sin almost fight back.
Yeah, I mean, they do so much damage. They just need Juves to stop dying at the start of the team fights.
Yeah, it definitely helped them out. So it looks like they have to go back to base here. Some members of Direwolves, Braum's going, Jace is going, Jax is going. There's no teleport there for the Jax in particular. He teleports into the fights. And the pick was great, but Baron was the end goal that they aren't able to achieve for themselves, and so they reset one more time.
Yeah, I think the reset is good. And, you know, it's hard for the Rek'Sai to survive during these fights. I think Juice just needs to be a little bit more patient. I think that, you know, waiting for a Prey Seeker to hit into a Jhin W, a little bit of a sneaky W, or maybe even the Lantern that can come out, bring one of them towards you before you hard engage.
They will do this very quickly. It's just gone.
Direwolves just moved towards the Baron buff, and it's dead. No
But
response
has
from Sin.
cut off the retreat, so there is only one way to Direwolves to go.
Oh, but the hook misses from Rogue. Can
Still
Sin
watching
look
for
for the
this.
fight? Chippies tries to jump in. They want to go for this one. Big stun coming out from him, and Doppler's in trouble. Shove back from Roma looks good. That's already the front line from Sin dead. Rogue finally hits his hook on the Schönfire, but FBI can't find a way into this fight. He's going to fall down to Fantix. Roma
King.
now being jumped on by King. Flash over the wall. Destiny's not even going to fall for this one. He gets the shutdown, and King is going to try and continue this fight. FBI somehow flashes over, but the Rupture not going to connect. Heal being used by FBI, the last man standing for Sin.
Yeah, exactly right, and I feel like that could be game. Creep Wave is coming. FBI sure is strong, but 20 seconds on any support should mean that Direwolves push this one down mid lane.
Certainly feels that way. Jhin, the last hope, I'd say maybe just an inhibitor if the health values look too low from Direwolves. And how risky are they going to play this one?
Let's see, 10 seconds on Rogue. He's the first one to respawn. Juice going to come up in 5
They're
seconds.
committing.
Well, Direwolves are committing for this one. They want to try and end the game right here, right now. It's been back and forth this entire series, but Direwolves, they want to stay undefeated. They're going to get a kill onto FBI. They're onto the Nexus already. All the turrets have been destroyed, and Sid can't do anything about it. Direwolves pick up the series 2-1.
And you can see some wry grins on the faces of the Direwolves members, but by no means was that a clean 3-game series by the Direwolves. I think we have to take a big step back and evaluate how the best team in Oceania is currently attacking Summoner's Rift, because the games look pretty messy, fellas.
Yeah, they just dropped back-to-back weeks, dropped a game to the 5th and 4th place team. Sin, no hands on their head. They thought they could pick up the match, and they should have, especially in game number 2, but should still be fairly proud about some of the improvements they made this week.
That's a team that's on the rise. That team on your screen. I feel like Sin Gaming are continually coming in week after week, and there are measured efforts of improvement. Dockler is performing much better. Juves didn't have the best game this week, but, you know, Rogue, FBI, stood up to one of the better bottom lanes in the OPL, and I think that they played incredibly well. Where else are we looking on the map for this team?
I mean, I look towards Juves as perhaps the one unfortunate tidings of this series, as like game number 1 was still good from them. And you look towards that game, and you're like, okay, Juves engaged well, Rogue engaged well. You come to the second game, and it's like, okay, Juves didn't engage well, but Rogue was engaging fantastically. And then you come to the third game, and it's like, okay, neither of them were engaging fantastically. It's just the carries that were going berserk for the side of Sin. And I feel like it's not just that consistency from the players themselves, but the idea, the mentality coming out of them that should be looked towards. But still, the fact that they're able to do that in games and look as good as they can. The game 1 Sin, when they're all firing in those big moments, almost unbeatable.
Juves really needs to have a series where he has back-to-back outstanding games. He had one in game number 1, 2 and 3 he kind of faltered, and we saw that from the Rek'Sai this game as well. Once he can get that stability and consistency, Sim will look like a much better squad.
But once again, using the Talia to attack the 1-3-1 and doing a very good job. At the same time, we do have to take a look at the victors. Direwolves were able to take this series 2-1, looking towards Shern, who, you know, we were questioning in game number 1, had a much better Zac performance. This Cho'Gath performance, probably his best of the split.
Yeah, but you have to highlight, firstly, that he was the Cho'Gath, and secondly, how he played the Cho'Gath, because that was a stellar performance. The way you play against Sin is very obvious that their jungler will play a big part of the engaging, and the strength of Cho'Gath, he was traditionally, in like Season 1, accounted a Rammus jungle, because Rammus would roll at you, you would just eat the Rammus, and then keep walking past him as his dead body that built a Thornmail wasn't able to survive the true damage, and pretty much how it was played here.
Yeah, they kept killing Juves every single time he went for a team fight. Schönfire was a big component of that, and he played team fights fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we have to look at is the fact that Direwolves went towards a team fight in common game number 1. Game number 2 and 3, they went very heavily. Double TP, Jax, as well as Cassidy in game 2. This time around, it was with a Corki, so a little bit more team fight flavor. But is this a team that is becoming one-dimensional? Can they only beat you by, you know, sticking to those side lanes?
I mean, it feels like they went back to comfort for games 2 and 3, unlocked Chippies, made sure he was a split pushing champion, back to their roots and what Direwolves are known for. They may eventually come into this trap where they become one-dimensional, can only do that, but we have seen the Direwolves team fight before. We've seen them use team compositions that aren't split pushing, so we know there is that potential. The question is, when can they show that?
Yeah, I'd take a step back and say in this series, maybe their team fighting was exposed, but they were team fighting Sin, and that's all they want to do. A lot of the fights were literally happening in mid lane, which is Sin's domain, and you were fighting them there for that. So Direwolves, yes, they got exposed a little bit. It could be a trap they fall into, but as it stands, they just went back to what works and won the series.
And it did seem that their late game decision making improved as the series progressed. They were able to take those team fights when they needed to, and they did execute well. So that is our first best of 3 of the night done. Direwolves take it 2-1. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to show you some highlights, and then the El Clasico OPL or the Anzac Day or whatever the heck we call it. Chiefs versus Legacy, that's up next.
He's still quite healthy though, and here comes Juice. Big knockup. They will lock down Destiny. First blood is picked up by Sin's captain. Shern has been ignited, but they get a return kill. They try and take this one. Juice has to outsmite Shern. Fire Doppler jumps in again. They go for the fight to kick things off. Destiny incredibly low. Will pop his ultimate. He's been ignited, but he will get away. However, King gets a kill to Doppler. That's 2 for the Direwolves. Make it 3 as King flashes forward.
Getting heavy damage now.
They knock Destiny back. He's forced to flash. Juice trying to flash on his face. Advantage being very aggressive. Ken Valk over the wall, incredibly low. There's Doppler in the back lines. Gets one once more. Will get locked down by King. Send him into the team. Doppler, that was an insane play. And there's a teleport coming out from Chippy straight away, trying to get to this fight. Hook coming out the road. Misses King. Will get locked down by the Jindo. Pops the curtain call. Looking for a fight. Juice though just dives into the backlines and gets destroyed. Sin now to fight without their captain. However, Direwolves incredibly low after this Baron fight. Shernfire is going to go down, but that's the only casualty for the Wolfpack. Direwolves are committing for this one. They want to try and end the game right here, right now. It's been back and forth this entire series, but Direwolves, they want to stay undefeated. They're going to get a kill onto FBI. They're onto the Nexus already. All the turrets have been destroyed, and Sin can't do anything about it. Direwolves pick up the series 2-1.